Halloween is upon us again, and I haven't talked about ROM hacks in a hot minute, so I think it's a good time to discuss some spooky ROM hacks. That's right, boys. It's time to grab a blankie and hold your plushies tight, because we're gonna go delving into the horrific world of spooky ROM hacks. These are some of the most horrific pieces of programming you will ever be a witness to, and we're gonna start out with one of the most horrific, gruesome, bloody ROM hacks of all time. That's right, boys. It's Kirby's Halloween Adventure. Kirby's Halloween Adventure is a ROM hack of Kirby's Adventure on the NES. For the most part, this ROM hack is a graphical modification that turns everything spooky and Halloween themed. It's not going for super terrifying imagery, more so for the finger puppet ghost aesthetic. It is still very much a Kirby feeling game. The enemies all have updated sprites to make them look like bats and spooky skeletons and shit. There's this cute little Kirby animation in the bottom right corner where he's carrying a bag of Halloween candy. Every time you eat an enemy that doesn't have a power-up ability, it goes, "I got a rock." That is, unless you actually get the rock ability and it goes, "I got a rock!" It's a cute little game that keeps the spirit of Halloween alive and well, and it's nice, although the rest of the game is largely unchanged, but that's fine. A spooky coat of paint is pretty nice on its own, and there's honestly a lot of effort that went into this. Next up, we have a Super Mario World hack called I Hate You, based on the creepypasta of the same name. In case you're not familiar with this creepypasta, it was one of many written by Slime Beast, someone who was generally considered to be one of the better creepypasta writers out there. With this story though, his goal was to deliberately make something kinda shitty and stupid, at least according to my memory. To make a long ass story short, this creepypasta is about a guy who plays the same ROM of Super Mario World religiously, and then after beating it an astronomically large number of times, he unlocks this super secret alternative ending to the game where it is revealed that Luigi was actually working with Bowser the whole time, and they were both plotting to kill Mario. Turns out, and this is pretty crazy, okay? You're not ready for this. Turns out Luigi is jealous of Mario because he's player 1 and he always gets the girl and his name is on all the games. Yeah, I know, that's a pretty wild speculative fan theory. This might actually be the first time it ever came up, but if there's one thing that was cool about the story, it was the fact that it actually included screenshots from the game, which lends a much greater degree of legitimacy to the story. Because as they say, pics or it didn't happen. Of course, editing a screenshot of a cartoony-ass Super Nintendo game is really not that difficult, and this story is, in fact, fake, as I'm sure you figured out. But it demonstrated way more effort than a lot of other shitbox creepypastas often tended to, and the pictures made it 7% more believable than if I were to just read a basic-ass recounting of events. Now, as for the ROM hack, the game is based very heavily on the screenshots provided in the story. It's a very short game, but the story itself was also very short, so that's not really an indictment of the game. Otherwise, the hack is very faithful to recreating the important story beats from the original creepypasta, right down to this evil mushroom that kills you on contact. If I do have one complaint, it's that there's this annoying as fuck boss fight with Luigi at the end where he has a billion health and you have to jump on him like 20 times in order to beat him. Like, I just thought it was a bit of an unnecessarily long pain in the dick. In any case, if you read the story, you pretty much know exactly what's going to happen in this game before you play it. It can be beaten in 6.5 minutes though, so it won't be that big of an imposition if you do decide to play it. Then, we got an ordinary Sonic hack. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's an ordinary Sonic hack. I just fucking lied to you. This is a ROM hack of Sonic the Hedgehog. On the surface, it looks like a regular Sonic game, but after about 10 seconds, the world changes to this alternate hell dimension where everything is covered in blood, and you got this creepy-ass reversed music. And that's when you start getting chased by an evil Sonic the Hedgehog with blood coming out his eyes and hyper-realistic fur. I mean, look at that fur. Look how realistic it is. It looks like you could touch it. It's so real. You see what I'm doing, right? I'm lying. Again. If you get to the end of the stage in the hell dimension, you can catch him just chilling there like a dickhead. I only managed to make it to the second level before realizing that I probably wasn't gonna have the patience to beat it, but If you want to try it out, I'm going to link it below anyway. It is worth mentioning that I couldn't find an actual ROM of this for the life of me, so what I'm playing is actually an emulated version on this online games website. I don't know how safe this thing is for sure. I think it's alright, but you know, just be careful. I wouldn't want to be indirectly responsible for giving your computer gout or whatever. It's also worth mentioning that the imagery and events of this hack are also inspired very heavily by Sonic.exe, which is another much more famous creepypasta about a haunted copy of Sonic the Hedgehog that conjured an evil plush doll from the depths of the author's computer screen. That pasta actually has its own fan game that comes with it. I have a really strong feeling that I played that one before, but I'm not 100% sure. That one is a pretty faithful recreation, but since you already know the creepypasta, it's largely predictable, much like I Hate You. This ROM hack, on the other hand, actually manages to be genuinely scary to an extent because there's an actual degree of player agency. There are parameters for winning and losing, which gives it a sense of urgency and honestly makes it scarier than if it was just a shot-for-shot recreation of a story that I already read. Then we got Spooky 64, a Mario 64 hack. This is what we're really here for. This was part of some Simple Flips ROM hack competition from a few years back where, from what I understand / remember, the prompt was to create something creepypasta-esque. This one is basically one short level with 6 stars in it. It's not spectacularly scary except for the bloody letters spelling out gay baby jail. The reality is I mostly played this hack for its upbeat name. I mean, how can you not play a game that's just called Spooky 64? Like, if they charged money for this game, I probably would have bought it. Up next, we have Please Come to the Castle.
Please come to the castle. Please come to the castle.
Please come to the castle. Please come to the castle. Please come to the castle.
This is another one from the Simple Flips competition. This is another creepypasta hack, although it's not actually based on any existing creepypasta, but the reason I'm putting it in that category is because it plays like a fucked up creepypasta game. It's a brief 12-minute hack, but it contains some of the most unsettling imagery I've ever seen in a Mario 64 hack. It starts off much more an experience than a game, but about halfway through it pulls a fast one on you and turns into a fucko game. I was not expecting that. Because it has no basis, as far as I know, in a pre-existing creepypasta, it's a lot more mysterious, which allows it to be genuinely unsettling because I don't already know what's going to happen. I actually enjoyed this one quite a bit. It was every bit as impressive and unsettling as it was short. And then finally, we have another hack from the Simple Flips competition. Regular Pasta. This was actually the first place winner of said competition, and I can definitely see why. This is a very high effort piece of work. It starts out exactly the way it sounds. It's regular pasta. It takes place at a regular pasta restaurant which gets its regular pasta from the regular pasta dimension. Regularly. Now Mario, being a huge fat ass, decides to go into the regular pasta dimension, but at some point on his journey, while trying to help the restaurant owners, he accidentally swaps dimensions to the fucko dimension, which is run by Princess Peach, who transformed herself into a sadistic artificial intelligence that rules the Mushroom Kingdom, but of course not before brutally murdering Bowser with a buzzsaw. Much like Come to the Castle, this game contains some very impressive audiovisual things going on. It's a brief game, but a surprisingly substantial percentage of that time is actually kinda challenging. Not to mention this fuck off boss fight at the end, by which I mean the boss fight made me say fuck off a bunch of times, but it's entirely doable as long as you're alright with saying the words fuck off, which I know not everyone likes to swear as often I do, especially on the Nintendo side of YouTube, but that's something you're gonna have to figure out. But that was 6 spooky ROM hacks. I tried to get some variety in this one because it's been a while, so I wanted to make it kinda special. Admittedly, there's only so many times you can Google different variants of scary ROM hacks before you have to go digging around Simple Flips competitions, but it don't matter in the end. Because I had fun, and hopefully you had fun too. Now, if you or your kids are out trick-or-treating this Halloween, make sure to double-check your candy. I hear that there are weird old people disguising very poorly written Sonic creepypastas as O. Henry bars, and you don't want to get that near your kids. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and remember, Christmas begins the second Halloween ends, so if I'm gonna do another marathon this year, I'm gonna need some suggestions for ROM hacks, so let me know if there are any ROM hacks or fan games you want me to play. But until then, happy Halloween, fuckos.